And, hey, do it your show. It's awesome. Okay, so I want to talk to y'all today about something that has like radically changed how I see God. Okay, it's about the okay, think of it this way. Do you know your value? Do you know who you are and your value, how much value you have? Because I didn't know that for a really long time. And so, you know that thing that you go to when you leave church or you're on the weekend, you're tired, the thing that will probably end up making you feel inadequate or steal your value than when you came into it. And you have less value afterwards, it's that. It's so I want to talk to you guys today about a faithful man of God, a prophet to the nation of Israel. His name was Hosea, which I thought was a chick's name for the longest time. I did not know that was a dude. But he's a man. He is a man of God. Okay, so he's a faithful dude, obeys the voice of God. And God asks him, he says, hey, I want you to go marry this promiscuous woman, this lady who's going to become adulterous to you, and then conceive children with her. And so that in your marriage, your children will be conceived in adultery. That doesn't make any sense to us, especially since we're thinking, oh God, you want the best for us, right? And so that's really confusing to wrap your head around. But he was using them as a living example for the relationship from like Israel to him. And so he goes out and does it. So he's married to this chick named Gomer, and that's a weird name too. And so they get married. The beginning of every marriage is like the honeymoon phase, and everything's great. So I have to believe that they had that great marriage at first, even though at the back of his head he had to know, you're going to be unfaithful to me at some point. So they have kids, right? They have 2 kids, and they actually have 3, but the third one is most likely not his natural born child. And so they didn't get to choose the names. God named them Jezreel. Number 2 was Lo Ruhamah, which means not. Lo Ruhamah means not love, not pity. Like, you're gonna want me to name my kid, so I'm gonna love and raise in the sight of God, not love. Come on, man. Okay, so then the third one is named Not My People. Like, that's not obvious enough. Like, are you telling me this isn't my son? And so, end of the story, right? And so, Gomer ends up leaving Hosea and their family. And so she ends up getting, wifey by some other dude who, after a short period of time, leaves her. And then she goes to the temple of Baal and becomes a prostitute, where other guys can just come in and have sex with her and think that it's your worship to their God. That's bogus. And so, after a short period of time of that, she gets married again, and shortly after, this new guy, this now third husband, is thinking, I have way too much debt. I have to sell something. How about my wife? Wow. So he sells Gomer into slavery, and it's at this point that Hosea, constantly, I'm sure, was thinking this whole time while she was away, I miss my wife. I miss my bride, the one that I married faithfully, who I was faithful to. So I'm sure he was there, still loving her while she was loving other people. And that's such the image of God loving you. Even while you were away doing something else, while you were away doing something with this other guy or this other girl and going out to parties or whatever it may be, whatever your thing is, he still loves you through it. And it's so reflective in the Word of God. You'll see in Hosea chapter 3 that God says, I want you to go and love that woman again. I want you to go back and love your wife. And so he does. He goes to the trading block where the slaves are, and he's like, you're seeing all the slaves who go by, who are bought and bought and bought. She remains up there. And so it gets to the point where she's now pretty much half price. And he's still paying a high price. I mean a high price for her. Even when she wasn't worth it, she wasn't worth it. She left him, and he still paid a huge price for her. And not just so that he could have her, because how many know at that point, whenever you feel like you're enslaved to something, you're in bondage, you don't feel valuable.
Wow.
And then when someone comes out and buys you, when Jesus bought you, you're like, why are you doing this? I don't deserve your love. Stay back.
Wow.
But he bought her not just to purchase her, but to reinstate value to her.
Whoa.
So you have value. You have value. I didn't know that I had value until, I don't know, maybe like 8 months ago. When I decided that God was going to do something in an internship, whether he liked it, well, I liked it or not. I came in because these people made me happy.
Yeah.
He came in and he wrecked my life. He pulled out walls. He gave me value. He said, "You're my son. You're my beloved."
Come on.
Yes.
And you. He says that. He says, "Daughter, I love you. You know you have value. You're worth more." And he proved it. Not just by this living example, but when Jesus died on the cross, he paid a price that no one else wanted to pay.
Right.
He paid it.
Oh.
Right on there. So thank y'all so much.